we are instructed to give unto you the law of chastity, which is that the women of God's kingdom and the men of God's kingdom shall have no sexual relations except with those to whom they are legally and lawfully wedded according to his law. Each of you bring your right arm to the square. You and each of you individually covenant and promise before God, angels, and these witnesses that you will observe and keep the law of chastity as it has been explained to you. Each of you bow your head and say yes.
Yes.
Thank you.
They go to the temple along with our 11-year-old young women.
She would be a second wife. She asked this question: would she be able to have her own house? Would she have to live with her husband and his first wife? I just told her to trust the Lord.
We know of youth who have jeopardized their spiritual growth by separating themselves from church teachings, such as those who are expressing little desire to be married or to have children.
And young women, please understand that if you dress immodestly, you are magnifying this problem by becoming pornography.
Jehovah, we promised Adam and Eve that we would visit them and give them further instructions. Come, let us go down.
We will go down, Elohim.
I hear their voices. They are coming.
See, you are naked. Take some fig leaves and make you aprons. Father will see your nakedness. Quick, hide.
Come, let us hide.
Brethren and sisters, put on your aprons.
What my psychiatrist recommended is you can take medication
Travis Wayne Goodsell, the day after. So, from my church news video yesterday, we all learned that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is slowly coming out of the closet, the religious closet, that they are finally getting the courage to no longer be ashamed of the gospel of Lucifer Christ. They've torn down the wall. And so, yeah, we've got a bunch of videos to do for you guys now. I've already started naming the titles of the videos. Christian's Pilgrimage to Salt Lake City Temple Square, to Kodachrome, the keystones of the doors of the Salt Lake Temple again. Coming out of the religious closet. Church of Lucifer rebranded in an AI age. Christians outraged that they got declassified as Christian. And the Church of Lucifer gets to be the real Christian church. Oh, humiliations galore, isn't the church so true? And Mormons walk out learning that Lucifer is God. And the restoration of the inverted pentagram. Everything's restored now. Plus, we got to go over and explain my 10 years and 10.5K videos. I know it sucks. I was right the whole time. You don't like it that I know everything. I've already got the song for it. Hymn number, should I stay or should I go? And the Spirit. Got to discuss that in the context of will there be a Zion, if there will be a Zion. Last night, stayed up late, looking into my Urim and Thummim. I botched it in the test run too. Rocks in a hat, plugged it into my computer to take pretty pictures. And so, yeah, I found the scripture. So, yeah, we got some stuff coming up. And this is why the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints fears and trembles in their secret chambers. As it just got revealed last week. It's actually over the weekend, wasn't it? Was it the Christofferson video? I'm trying to remember. Well, because it goes back to when they attacked for trying to again murder me for what they did in 2022 after I discovered the way to perfection, page 290 and 291, Adam on Diamond. It's canceled. And so, yeah, it was the second part of that video series. So, yeah. So we gotta go over the scriptures of Judges chapter 3 for you, because there's some really cool stuff if you knew Paleo-Hebrew like I do. Oh, you don't? So I'm gonna have to do it for you. My lesson manuals or everything you need to know is there in academia. I don't do much with it anymore because I'm focused on trying to save your lives from I told you so, the great and abominable church of the devil. So, but the theme song for that one, Shadas, Nikki Seizure, Revelation Time. Good song, good movie. And it was hilarious because I had just told you about my New York mission and only learning about the Jamaican Queen's accent. That's the only accent I can pick up on my mission. You know, Spanish, yeah, not really. The Italian Long Island accent, oh hell no. I can't get it. I just couldn't do it. But the Jamaican Queens, yeah, I was prepared with all of the Steven Seagal movies in advance of going on my mission. So I was prepared for my mission, like my patriarch said. So, ain't a pulling thread. So let's get to the news video segment of my day, to warn you of what's about to hit the fan and what is going on in the news and what you may not recognize because you don't see the big picture like I's done. Because knowing that we're in the latter days, I'm able to see the bigger picture with my visionary brain. And people have not endured to the end. They've gone the way of the dodo bird. Very sad. Couldn't endure. But we're so close. But yeah, Stanford. Looks like we're going to Tabernacles this year. We're heading to Tabernacles. But this should be it. Unless Trump tacos out again. And becomes a lame duck for the remaining 2 years. Although, he still can do it at any time he wants. But he needs an enemy. He needs an enemy to carry this through. He was supposed to do it in 2025, but people got upset, reminded him of the Epstein files and how he is a puppet to the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And that's somewhere there's an Epstein thing. Yeah, there it is. That was the one. The restoration of child bride polygamy. Epstein died that the Mormon priesthood leaders might have eternal child bride polygamy. Too real. Stanford again had sent a video that I had seen at least last month. Can't remember how long ago it was when I saw it and obtained it for the files. A woman whistle blew on the whole Epstein plot, that it was to rebuild the Babylonian practice. No, it's the Greek of polygamy. But yeah, I know Christianity has confused you guys because it's Babylon the whore. And so yeah, it corresponds with Alyssa, who revealed the Mormon who was hooking up Musk with his harem of polygamous wives to create Legion. All of this is designed around Armageddon, the millennium, but it's in their minds. And this is why Epstein had the email that we all found out about in the files about talking to the Mormon president and then the Mormon pint of blood down there at the Zorro Ranch. And so that's a good transition if I hadn't have cut short the Alma chapter 30 scripture that I was going to start with. Because Paris Hilton is back, babies. Et tout le monde, et tous mes amis. Cute little babies getting strung up. Now you have to know your pop culture of Megadeth and the album cover. Their Nuclear Blast. I have that on my sign-in screen. Since 2017, I've done the pretty picture for you lately this year. Not too long ago. Could have been last month. Everything seems like it's taken forever. Oh, God. And just remember, because I do. Everyone fears this church, the leadership. Everyone bows the knee. The government, yeah. The hearings yesterday, oh my hell. And again, the news is just still refusing to get it. Still playing dumb. As the press, the Mormons, those who aren't Mormon, the government, all bow the knee. And now Trump bowed the knee by designating the Church of Lucifer as the one true Christian church on the face of the earth. And declassifying Christians as Christian. Oh, Lee. You kidder. He's like Captain Moroni. It kind of helps if you actually read the Book of Mormon, Lee. You're supposed to read it. But despite everybody fearing this church, the church leaders got exposed. They only fear one man. And Mormons, yeah, that's the hierarchy of knowledge that I've been telling you about. As for the Lucifer video, should I stay or should I go now? If I stay, there will be trouble. If I go, it will be double. Yep. Lovely day, lovely day, lovely day. Yep. They never believed that I would come. There's the transition we needed. There it is. Alma chapter 30. So, yeah, this is a big thing in a Mormon's life right now. This is their hinge point moment. Should they stay or should they go now? Oaks, I told you. He's purging the church. Cleansing it. Trying to see who's going to continue to stay, who's going to be a sensitive snowflake and leave. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see the Mormon employees for YouTube, Microsoft, Google. You know, are they going to continue to commit crimes on behalf of the church for their companies? Now that they know that it's Lucifer, you knew all along, right? You know, I'm not kidding you. I'm Not breaking news. Every Mormon knows, right? That's why you stay Mormon. You know, the wife who cut my hair and betrayed me, she can't handle. She doesn't want to talk about it. I'd show her the wedding photos, room number 13, wedding supper feast at the Lion House next to the Beehive House. She can't handle. She's too sensitive when it comes to evil and violence. She's very naive and severely abused with the subject matter that we're talking about today, when I can get around to it. So yeah, how many Mormons are putting thumbs downs now that they are getting revealed by the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints? You all thought that you could point to the name Jesus. You didn't keep reading in the Book of Mormon to the end of the verse. Doesn't matter what you name it. What matters is the platform for your political party. Even if you don't write it out so that everybody's confused. What do they believe in? Who's their leader? I don't know. We'll just call them Antifa. So, came to pass in the latter end of 2025, there came Dallas Harris hoax into the land of Salt Lake City Temple Square Administration Building. And he was an anti-Joseph Smith Christ, for he began to preach unto the Mormons against the prophecies which had been spoken by Joseph Smith, and the Book of Mormon, and the Bible, and the scriptures rejected by Christians, concerning the coming of the Mormon who would be the Christ, whom he fears only. He fears no man but one. Hi, Oaks. How you doing? Not dead yet? You know, the Book of Mormon makes it very clear. You can end all of this. Yeah, you can stop Armageddon anytime you want. It's up to you. I know you gave the talk and said no man can stop it. But you can. You really can. Just come out, confess. Yeah, we're the Church of Lucifer. Lucifer speaks in my brain. Not like the worms and Ronald McDonald K. Jr. And he tells me to hurt you guys. Travis was right all along. Travis doesn't need to be told that. He already knows he's right. And then transfer authority to me. I'll let you go flee to a non-extradition country. You just can't take any of the money that you've hoarded for Jesus with you. Belongs to the Mormons. It belongs for the building of Zion. So hand it over, Oaks. Because otherwise I got to do these other videos. And you don't like it when I do these other videos. You don't like it when I have dreams. It's up to you. You get to choose. You're free to choose. Not like Mormons or the rest of the world now. We don't get to choose. It's a false dichotomy. That's not agency. But, yeah, this is Koror. We all know this, right? Right? Oh, crap, you don't even know Koror anymore. You just use it as a bullying name. To beam and moat. So, yeah, there was no law against a man's belief, obviously. But you can't take away the agency of others. You can't enforce your beliefs. That's Alma chapter 1. Enforcing priestcraft with the javelin of #DesNat. We just want people to obey. Make them, force them to obey the living prophet of Jesus. Surprise, it's Lucifer. Still want to force people to obey, huh? You're Mormon your whole life. You went on a mission. You purposely skipped verse 19. And yet, you get mad when I call you stupid. You want to take away my agency and cause me harm, commit crimes against me, and even try to murder me. Choose ye this day whom you will serve. It's about the gospel, not about the name. So, yeah. If he's 28 USC 1111, he was punished unto death. Right, Oaks? Or are you going to do it before they get you? Right, Cox? You're going to do your duty as an oath sworn to the United States of America and get them? Or are you going to sacrifice for Jesus Lucifer? To avoid the too frequent repetition of the name Lucifer, we, the church in modern days, use the name Jesus. Yeah, I'm on one now. I just love mocking evil. Contend against no church but the church of the devil. You probably don't even know that Doctrine and Covenants passage. See, those who have followed, yeah, they know. They know. You know, the Anonymous Mormon will send me pretty pictures on it. Stanford will send me YouTube videos and news clippings on it. And that's pretty much it. You know, I see that there's somebody in Sweden who's still watching. I hope that's you, Frederick. How you doing? And, you know, James pops in every now and then. There's some others, but the majority of you are still from the church office building. In the Strengthening Church Members Committee. You don't have one person designated to follow me 24/7, or at least two of you. So one of you can take a 12-hour shift, or you probably have to have several to work on shifts for me. Yep. So, yeah, if you commit crimes, you're supposed to be punished for those crimes. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints just ain't getting punished for their crimes. But nonetheless, they're trying to use this to show how he manipulated people by reinterpreting the law. You know, like religious freedom when you already have it in the First Amendment. Means you're trying to destroy the religious freedom in the First Amendment if you're pushing for it. And they took away Adam on by almond priesthood meeting? Seriously, guys? You're pushing religious freedom to overthrow the government. But you took out all about the secret council meeting for Lucifer to hand over the government to you? I mean, Jesus? Seriously? I don't know. Priorities, I guess. Priorities. Okay. So, this is what he preached. You're bound to Jesus under a foolish and vain hope. Beeman mode. He's binding you to Jesus. That's Oakes's version. How did the Book of Mormon know? That's so incredible, Mormons. Yeah, I'm walking the Mormon that I covered the other day, who is, to those who do not sustain the living prophet. Because we're all told that, they're prophets, which means they predict the future. And apparently he didn't get the memo that they deny the gift and power of prophecy. It's just a title, like that Mohammed guy. And so we had found a video clip of Ballard explaining how when Nelson and Oakes were put in, he goes, there's 2 future presidents of this church. I feel it with every fiber of my cereal. And he's going, the prophecy came true. It's so true. You need to sustain them with a covenant blood oath atonement. So yes, Mormons are desperate for the living prophets of Jesus to show the gifts and powers, ignorant of the fact that that's already their first presidency statement for official statements. We deny them. Among the list of what you should have caught on to when they're not taking the title of translator. And I go over that with you. And they use the King James Version of the Bible because it's a horrifying translation. And I went and did the check on the Book of Mormon that the Bible passage and the Book of Mormon passage use charity instead of love. Because if they translated the Book of Mormon correctly and translated the Bible correctly, they'd have to fix the translations. And because they don't want to do that, keep you in bondage to a foolish and vain hope, you do yoke yourself to Jesus. That was Nelson's wording. Just amazing. Do they know? We'll discuss it. Maybe. Oakes could come out today and say, oh, you got me, Travis. You got me. Here you go. Save Mormons. I'm going to go now. I'll wave as I drive by to the airport. Which, that's the other video that we have to go over when the transfer takes place, if it takes place. Book of Mormon still says we could all die. I'm stuck in my cave writing about the utter destruction of Mormons in the world. And so the concept of this vain and foolish hope is looking for a Christ, a human being, to come in the future. That's why I kind of referred to verse was it? 6? The latter end of the 17th year. Now, of course, they put the asterisk there and put 74 BCE. Ooh, the Roman period time. No, it's coded. And that's with the second video about what's coming. Judges chapter 3. There's the 18th year. Yeah, there's the 17th year. That's what I'm referring to. I'm trying to give you little clues and hints, just in case, Oakes doesn't confess and hand it over. He gets to choose. It's his choice. I tried to get him to hand it over when Nelson died on the very day and minute that I called it. But he wanted the power and the money. It's a great temptation, I guess. I want nothing to do with it. I'm going to use it to build Zion, to be self-sufficient, self-sustaining. As long as nobody includes a black market economy, it should last for a millennium. Until one of you family groups decides to change things and take over power and ruin Zion a millennium from now. Don't do it. You've already got control over your own family and you're sticking to agency, right? Don't do it. So no man can know of anything which is to come. Spirit, seer, prophet, revelator, translator, acronym. And yet, they fear me because they know I'm good. Very good. These things which you call prophecies, which ye say, are handed down by holy prophets. Behold, they are foolish traditions. So he's denying the scriptures. He knows them. He gets confessed. He gets trampled under. He dies. Nobody wants to give him of their substance anymore. Right, Oaks? You cannot know of things which you do not see. Fruit. You don't see it until it sprouts, blossoms, and pops out. The seed is not the fruit. The seed is the sign of the fruit. Got to hold to the iron rod to get to the fruit. If you do not hold to the iron rod, you're on the forbidden paths of darkness leading to the great and spacious building and the filthy waters, and you think it's the iron rod, and you say it's Jesus. Oops. No atonement in Gethsemane anymore. Ooh, yeah, I did put that on the list. There's several post-it note pages of lists of stuff. Even this morning I was adding some more. Yeah, a lot of videos over these 10 years. So, no atonement. You gotta use the right atonement definition, though, from the right translation. You know, the Jewish one, not the Christian. Nonetheless. So here we go. Every man fared in this life according to the management of the creature. Now, my seminary teacher went off script of the manual that was newly created for the footnotes of the brand new scriptures, being the first class. And so it was my junior year when I was sporting the stash and trying to grow the hair long, and all it did was curl in a ball. And so I eventually said, screw this, and I shaved it. And then I found out that Lynette Hymas was wanting to sneak into my room while I was sleeping and shave it off, tying me to the bed to make sure that I wouldn't try to get away. And I'm thinking to myself later on that, and I'm like, what? Lynette Hymas liked me? Because why would she go out of her way to come over to my house to shave off the mustache if she's not having fantasies about me without the mustache? Yeah, I know you women. You don't want me to know about you, but I know. You're not different than men. You just have different ways of going about it. Nobody wants to teach sex ed. Nobody wants to teach sex ed. Nobody wants to communicate. And then women get upset because man doesn't know how to read their mind, to know what their fantasy is. How are they going to know unless you tell them? You can't call us stupid if he didn't talk to us. Explain. I like it when you wear this shirt. It turns me on. Well, why didn't you say so? Fine, I'll wear the shirt now. Hey, honey, I'm wearing the shirt. You're still in the doghouse for not taking out the trash. But, come on, I'm wearing the shirt. Can't we all just get along? Don't be cruel to a heart so true. I don't want no other lover. But pretty soon the women at the office start looking better and better, and the family starts looking worse and worse, and before you know it, you're having orgy sex with all the women in the office. Thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah, there are a lot of things growing up Mormon that we learn. And let's see. Therefore, every man prospered according to his genius. That's a version of survival of the fittest, but it's more of an elitism of intellectualism, according to my seminary teacher. I would correct him with my education up at Canada with the first Ethiopian woman. Numbers chapter 12. Numbers chapter 12. After Numbers chapter 11? Because there's the other one in 9. Anyway. And every man conquered according to his strength. That's survival of the fittest. Darwin the dumbass. That whatsoever a man did was no crime. Right, Oaks? You're a religion. You're exempt. Yeah, there we go. Yeah. That needs to be added. The exemption clause. Exemption from laws. You know, there was a woman who commented on my video, the 2-minute video, about how the church is violating the laws of the land. And so she'd never been to any of my videos before. This was her first one that she came to. And that was her comment. I thought we were supposed to obey the laws of the land. Her faith bubble got bursted, learning that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is violating the laws. So I don't know if she kept watching my videos, if the YouTube Mormon employee allowed more recommendations of my videos for her. And that the stats show that you guys just only come to my videos if they're recommended to you. What the bleeping hell? I've got a channel. I've got other videos. My hell. Bunch of zombies. Zombie, zombie, zombie. And thus Oaks did preach unto them, leading away the hearts of many, causing them to lift up their heads in wickedness. How did I know? Remember? I'm the one man they fear. It gives me such great pleasure. Causing them to lift up their heads in wickedness, leading away the hearts, not the minds. They're able to. He's able to fool people with emotivism. See, that seminary teacher needs to learn from me. Spiritual witness feelings. Yea, leading away many women. And yeah, men too. To commit whoredoms. Polygamy, 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 polygamy. Telling them that when a man was dead, that was the end thereof, unless you've paid a full tithing to be righteous, to be worthy to be resurrected. The atonement. No longer in Gethsemane, it's now the tomb atonement. Trying to tell you, they kept changing the doctrines. Hinge pointing. He didn't listen. So, psychology. These are all psychological manipulations that he is using. Fallacy arguments. Not using the scientific methodology of logical Socratic methodology. The development of premises to lead to a conclusion, not starting with a conclusion and only picking and choosing which premises fit your conclusion. So that you can run a theory test for 3 confirmations to establish fact. This will be taught in Zion. None of these teachings will be allowed in Zion, other than to have it available for you to read about how it's not supposed to be used in Zion. This is what led to the destruction of mankind. Enforced priestcraft. Because they don't tell you that for this one. Nehor, yeah, enforced priestcraft. But he's got people following them. He's got to live somehow. He's getting priestcraft to support his beliefs. That's understood. So, there's the high priest. Number two. See, number one is all about Lucifer. Number two is about the solar eclipses, planning for an exodus, tabernacles, and Gilder the frame for it. So yeah, 2025. I'm going, here I go again. Trump gonna do it again, and the church is, pushing to say, we demand a sign. Go ahead, Travis, see if you can part the waters again. Okay. It's gonna be worse this time, though. Oops, I did it again. And you have to follow my channel and see the repeated pictures. And so Stanford comes out in January. After coming out in December of 2024, he began to inquire as he was studying about the sons of Levi offering up an offering in righteousness, and that led to all of, that was actually 2024, wasn't it? Oh God, it's been so long now. Because I think it was 20, no, because that was the solar eclipse time. So, yeah, it must have been 2025. And you were saying we're probably going into tabernacles in January. No, but yeah, and they tried, but they failed. Trump failed. Couldn't do it. So now we're going to the next election for the midterms. So, yeah, Trump had to see 22 doctors. It's not a good indicator. He's not going to live much longer. Don't think he's going to make it to the presidential election, so he's got to do it soon. And this could very well be it. I mean, sure, he's gone on a trip now. Previously, he canceled trips because he had to see doctors. This time he went on a trip. Mighty Mississippi. To make everybody believe that everything's fine in Zion and in the millennium or the Middle East. That we're going to have the temple in Jerusalem built soon. War is over. Ceasefire is commenced. Not quite. It's a trap. He's got to prepare for the election, which is strange because he purposely tanks his chances of winning and then wins. Except for the test run near Oaks. Was he really supposed to lose? Are you sure? Was that part of the test run? So I think we're done with the scriptures, aren't we? You are in bondage. So yeah, staying up late. Not much sleep. So I'm likely to fall asleep during this video. And I don't know when I'm going to get to these videos. It may not be today. Obviously, the whole long list of titles, I'm not going to be able to do them all today. Maybe I can do short videos, but, it'll pretty much be repetitions. So, Nazi Germany. They used medical doctors and some psychologists to perform human experimentations on the Jews, torturing them, mentally abusing them. It's just horrific what the Jews succumbed to, were afflicted with. And it's horrible that people deny that part of history. That they don't deny that there was a World War II, but they deny that the Nazis had concentration camps to perform these tortures and to slaughter just a whole millions of Jews. Just awful. And there's only, as a result, about 16 million Jews in the world right now. And I'm just so furiously pissed with Anna Kasparian of the Young Turks, who keeps repeating that the Jews are trying to genocide Islam, who are over 2 billion. She caves for money. Islamic terrorism funds the TYT, and she just sells her soul. I liked her. They covered stuff that the national press didn't cover. They were the ones who exposed the whole Bears Ears scandal. And now it's just disgusting to hear her speak when she's speaking about Israel. She keeps pushing this Israel First campaign and imposing it on all of Israel and all Jews to rile up her base of Islamists to war and genocide Israel and Jews. You know, you can believe what you want, but when you start speaking hate, you don't have the freedom of speech to do that. And YouTube won't shut it down. Trump needs an enemy. So, we won World War II. Hitler had a red flag incident, pretended that we shot him, died in his bunker. It was suicide with his mistress, when they actually got taken to Argentina with Elvis. Elvis went on a secret mission. He's not dead. He's not dead. Elvis lives. It can't be. God. So Operation Paperclip was employed by President Kennedy. He was involved in that. Alright, well, the picture that's on the Wikipedia page has Kennedy in it. But obviously prior to, immediately after World War II. So throughout the 50s, and late 40s. And so it was still known to President Kennedy. I hope I didn't say Clinton. Please tell me I didn't say Clinton. Visionary memory, I have these gaffes. And so this brought over to skip being punished for their crimes. that they desperately needed to be punished for their crimes unto death. So Israel instead had to go around with their Mossad agents hunting down. They had an actual group of Nazi hunters to go country to country to hunt down the Nazis who were secretly taken to all the different countries to get away with their crimes so that they can be brought to justice instead. And so there's a number of movies made about this as well. But the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, being Luciferian as they are, supported Nazi Germany, Moroni and the swastika. Which apostate are you? And so they embraced this operation. The CIA has Mormons in it, turned missionaries, go around the world, learn a new language. Perfect recruiters for the CIA. We all know this, it's been in the news, even back in those days. Right, D. Todd? And Irene, lest we forget you, Irene. Are you ready yet to transfer authority? Because apparently Oaks won't do it. You fear me, right? It got leaked that you guys fear just one man. You're still going through with the 200-year-old plot, even though you're 4 months late because you ran a test run in 2020. But you ran a test run and you took down everything about Adam-on-Diamond. Why did you do that? Why did you do that? Was it because of me? Yes. You were pissed. Wanted me murdered. You murdered my mom. So, yeah, Utah now becomes the capital test run place for the continuation of the Nazi experimentations on Mormons now instead of Jews. And so down in the south was the nuclear testing. See if Mormons and the Word of Wisdom, and those who are apostates who are violating the Word of Wisdom, you got to have different test groups. Got to give placebos to some. So yeah, the effects of nuclear radiation upon Mormons in the South, who were the Confederates. After they converted, they moved to southern Utah. Land of Dixie. And just in 2020, when all of a sudden people were wearing Confederate masks, everybody was shocked. What? It's Dixie for a reason. Just a bunch of dumb people. What the bleeping hell? Had a discussion to change the name Dixie. Hey, Aunt Dixie, did you change your name? Still Aunt Dixie? Did you know the church murdered your sister? Still think I'm the bad guy, huh? God, whole family betrayed me. And so Irene, that's where Irene comes in. As a youngin', military service, and then he did the analysis for the military on the effects of the radiation exposure of the Mormons down there. Shh, don't tell. He's not the president yet. So yeah, for the scandal lately about whether we should continue to fund them for the poisoning that we did to them with nuclear radiation. Yeah, it should be federal government funding it, not state government, but still. Utah government allowed it to commence because the church allowed it to commence. So in the north, you start seeing the pop-ups of psychology. LDS Family Services changes to no longer be nursemaids for the hospital. Now they start to embrace psychology. And so the asylum is fully operational. Not just with apostates now, but others to be tested for drugging and other torture techniques. The conversion therapy, for example, that got into full swing because of this. And Stanley Smith Stevens, Mormon, born in Ogden, it's Ogden, did his work in Colorado during World War II and afterward, until he would eventually die. He's the one that came up with the spectrum. If you've ever heard people talking about spectrum, oh, he's on the spectrum. He's got a spectrum disorder. That's the Mormon, Stanley Smith Stevens, psychologist. He used non-dichotomous and dichotomous categorizations of human behavior. Fallacy argument. He didn't go to the causation in the brain. He's doing the outward appearance, judging by the outward appearance. That's why it's a fallacy argument. And so in order to create the diagnoses, he has to name call and bully people from their outward appearance. Hey, Four Eyes, you're mentally retarded. So yeah, bullying uses the same psychological abuse. It's where they got it from. So the bullying peers growing up, yeah. Psychologists got it from them because they were wanting to get clients. Psychology needs humans to run tests so that they can get paid, so that they can have a living. So if they cured people to not have a mental retardation by finding the cause, oh, there isn't one for mental retardation. If they are brain damaged, they need to go see a medical doctor? Exactly. The whole thing is a criminal fraud of severe abuse. They have no Hippocratic oath like a medical doctor is forced to have. And yet they got the government to give them doctor-client confidentiality so that they can abuse their client and they can never tell anybody about how they're abusing them. And this is why Mormon parents here in Utah are pissed when they find out that their special little child is being locked up in a box. And the psychologists at the schools are telling them, your kid is a problem child. This is for their own good, but you're locking them in a box. We know what we're doing. We're the experts. You're just the parents who are concerned. We understand. We're going to flatter you, pacify you, and deceive you into thinking that all is well in Zion, Lucifer's great plan of trickery. And so the parents back off. And then they find out that they're still abusing the child. Yeah, Utah is the highest per capita. It used to be well known for decades that Utah is the highest per capita of women on depression drugs. Psychologists give those to you. Medical doctors don't give depression drugs. At least they're not supposed to, because they're not supposed to commit harm. Do no harm. Hippocratic oath. If a medical doctor is giving out symptom management, then they need to be fired, lose their license to practice, and go to prison. Medical doctors have to seek a cause. Treat the cause. Psychologists don't. They are symptom managers. Outward appearance, to name, call, and bully. And so we've all known that psychologists repeat over and over again, you're mentally retarded, you're mentally retarded, you're mentally retarded, you're mentally retarded, until they convince people that they're mentally retarded, and then they're now a client. And obviously they don't say mentally retarded, it's the bullies who do that. Because psychologists keeps changing names of things. See, in the news, they're talking about the Provo Canyon School. Really? A school? You mean an asylum? No, 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 no. It's a school. Or it's a hospital. Or it's a treatment center. Or it's a care center. They deceive you by changing the names. It's pure evil what they're doing. It's asylums, psychologists, not medical doctors. You know, the psychiatrists who are the drug pushers for big pharma, who get kickbacks, by the way. Because medical doctors can't get kickbacks from drugs. Hippocratic oath, remember? Can be medical doctors to the point of only being able to prescribe the drugging. But in that case, yeah, they're violating Hippocratic oaths to do no harm if they are an actual medical doctor mixed with a psychologist. But if they're only a psychologist, but because they're a psychologist, they're able to prescribe drugs because they're a psychiatrist, not psychologist, then that's the fault of the government for being stupid and allowing that to happen. So pay attention. When they call themselves a doctor, are they also an MD? If they're an MD, you can get them busted. Those psychiatrists at the school, if they're an MD, this lawsuit is going to cause severe damage. Get them. Get them, Paris. Paris is burning. I think we already have the theme song for this one, don't we? Yeah, it's Psycho Killer. But I do like Dawkins' Paris is burning. But she's not the one who's burning. She's the one causing the burning. But it would also go along with the news of Macron. See, this is where Melania finally went on a trip with Trump again. In case you forgot the previous scandal. Melania has a crush on Macron. So I'm just waiting for the photo shoot of Melania slapping the hand away of Trump. Spray painting her coat with "I don't care." Good times for the history books. Good times. So yeah, lots of evil going on here, guys. And they need a backlog. They've got a long list of people who can't get into housing, because this was the trap that Utah helped them with. They got a whole court for the mental retarded. That's whole Operation Rio Grande was specifically done for this purpose. Those who are druggies go to the drug court. Those who are mentally retarded go to the mental retarded court. And so they thought, well, we'll just lock them all up and we'll threaten them to plead guilty so that they can go to these other courts. And we'll promise them that they'll get housing and food and everything just like in prison, but better, because you'll be out in the community. It's a trap. The empire has set a trap. And so, yeah, just awful, the abuse that goes on. And so, what was supposed to have happened, going all the way back to 1963, just about a couple of weeks, plus or minus, before that fateful day in Dallas when Mormons assassinated the President of the United States of America. CIA, remember? Mormon boys, returned missionaries, assassins for Jesus, aka Lucifer, to avoid the too frequent repetition of the name. With George Poppy Bush there at the corner of that fateful turn. And then D. Todd steps into the picture with the Mormon Deep Throat. Yep, Mormons are everywhere in the news. The Mormon is Deep Throat. Unbelievable. And so again, this is also part of the knowledge hierarchy, is that Mormons down below are tested as to whether or not they're going to be loyal to the doctrines of Lucifer at the beginning, thinking that it's Jesus. And if they can prove themselves worthy, tithe payers, and preach the doctrine of Lucifer as Jesus is, they can get elevated in this church pretty quickly. Especially if you're a family member. Nonetheless, I digress. So, an act of Congress is signed by President Kennedy. The Community Mental Health Act of '63. No more asylums in the United States of America. That's why the asylums in Utah are called by different names. And they try to fool you into thinking that the Utah State Hospital was the asylum, but it's all brand new building there in Provo. And so it's a hospital. It's got PhD doctors. No, it's an asylum. They're not doing research. They're supposed to do medical research to look for the causation for curing. They're no longer supposed to be running human experimentations, torturing, abusing, with never curing, thus maintaining their living by having clients. And so you'll see that there's a whole massive backlog of people who don't get homes to live, and so there's homeless. There are people who are forced to live with others, and the cops are refusing to sweep the streets of the homeless to find these people who are endangered adults who have wandered away from home, and all they had to do was sweep the streets. Because the thing is even though that there's no such thing as mental retardation, once they get drugged and put into the system, it's not just the power of suggestion that has people believing they're mentally retarded and other people believing they're mentally retarded, so they call them mentally retarded and treat them mentally retarded. And so then the people, again with the bullying of repetition, then believe they're mentally retarded and they act like they're mentally retarded. See that all the time with the homeless. They were told, if you are mentally retarded, we can help you, but there's a long line. The reason for that long line is because they want more funding from the government to have more buildings, to have more educational graduates, so that they can continue to increase and increase and increase and increase. And the causation for this is when Optum took over in 2014. Optum then changed the way they paid the field of psychology and everybody employed under them in 2018, so that everybody had to show their time card to show that for each hour, in order to get paid, they had to be working with a client. If they aren't working with a client, they don't get paid. And so thus the causation of an overwhelming number of clients that they can't possibly meet them all, and so thus more people are required to be employed and educated and treatment centers for that. That's why. But none of this is supposed to exist because Kennedy signed the act and then was assassinated by Mormons, where the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints turned Utah into the highest per capita of psychology. Yeah, the church assassinated Kennedy. You thought it was Nixon. Watergate and Deep Throat. I am no-fap Deep Throat. I have magical powers, Travis, and I'm going to smite you. Just stay away from me. Take your no-fap and go home. Stay away from me. Dear God. Yeah, this is psychology that does this of the church. The church, by lying to Mormons about all of the spiritual witness feelings, it results in these Mormons with delusions of grandeur, thinking that there's superheroes for Jesus, and Chad Daybells and Brian David Mitchells and Jody Hildebrands and Ruby Franks And yeah, that's what we have now been witnessing, is the fruit of psychology. You know, previously, the occasional person, that they were able to cover up and hide it. But now it's hitting the fan big time. As you've got treatment centers that are being forced to shut down. The Provo Canyon School, that's what all this is about. The abuse, and it wasn't just Paris, as there are 2 families so far in this lawsuit that are suing. This is an evil thing that is getting exposed finally, just like Oakes revealing that, hey, we're Lucifer, he's our god. And individual psychologists, caregivers, treatment center personnel, etc., are committing murder, are physically abusing, sexually abusing. They're getting busted and getting punished in the law. Thank God. But why isn't anybody going after the church? Why? And still, despite 2 years of this, just a massive amount of exposure of the evils of psychology, all getting educated at BYU to commit these crimes. The press still won't cover it. Won't address the issue that's at the cause. Instead, they do symptom management reporting. They're not investigating. See how psychology has infiltrated the press? It's infiltrated our courts. You just have to play on the spiritual witness feelings of the jury to get a conviction. That you don't need evidence. Right, Tyler Robinson? And Corey Richens? She was supposed to have been found guilty of taking the drug and poisoning her husband, resulting in his death. That's it. That's all they had to prove. And instead, well, she committed adultery and she got the money upon his death. So yeah, I think she did it. Oh my hell. You know, if she actually poisoned her husband, that's one thing. She got away with that, but got punished for an unrelated issue. But nonetheless, the prosecution didn't prove their case. They failed. And I don't know if the defense counsel is smart enough to appeal that properly. Oh my God. And Governor Cox, he can pardon her. He won't do it. So anyway, so this is what's going on. All of these things are going to be fully operational in Zion in the millennium for the church. Not my Zion. Won't be allowed. Section 119 tells you who's going to be rejected from Zion. And you have to pay, so you can't be an apostate. You can't be an Antifa. You can't be LGBTQ, you can't be black, you can't be a woman. Out of child bride polygamy. A single career-driven woman who wants to live life before settling down and having 1.1 baby. Yeah, America tried to control the population. That's why it's the nuclear family after World War II. The commercials were all designed to have a white family, a white couple, married, Christian, who had 2 to 3 kids. So thus the 2.5 children. And yet, when you're poor, you can't, because you're not able to afford birth control or abortions. That's when the Christians attacked all that to prevent that, to cause further problems and abuse. It's just evil what's going on in America that has led to its fall. Almost there, Trump. He wanted to celebrate his birthday. People didn't want to let him. Gladiators. Hilarious. We all knew he was going to do it. For months now he's talked about this. And it's just, people just don't listen. They forget. Maybe it's just because I'm a visionary that I still remember. I still remember all the long list of illegals that Utah is still denying. He's not illegal. Yes, he is. Did you not listen to Trump? But yeah, the church, that's the number 2. They're purposely trying to destroy this church by getting a tax on it so that the church can claim to be victims, religious freedom, you have to give it to us, even though we're a fraud and we're illegal ourselves. But Travis, stop exposing us. Stop it. We've got plans. We've got a 1,000-year plan. And so, yes, those who don't observe tithing and polygamy and other laws that they come out with, you're an apostate. You got to leave Zion. But they will try to convert you. Conversion therapy will come back. The psychological abuse. That's the homeless center. Remember? They specifically don't want to house the homeless, because that would solve the problem. Providing jobs, that would solve the problem. Dear God. Can't solve the problem. We've got to have a problem so that we can have a job. So that's what's going on, guys. So they're preparing with the causation of people complaining about the mass numbers of those who are mentally retarded, who are homeless, who are criminal, who are druggies, who are all considered mentally retarded. So that, just like the police treating the poor here, they purposely let them camp out. And we constantly are reporting in the neighborhood homeless, hello. They're scaring little children. They're rummaging through the trash and loitering and causing a mess and causing problems. They need to be taken care of. You're not taking care of them. You're abusing them. So yeah, like Operation Rio Grande. Perfect illustration of their whole plot. And this is just a bigger scale now. Like the data centers. You all knew this was coming if you paid attention. You didn't pay attention, so now it's here and now you're complaining? This is the whole thing. Operation Rio Grande. They're panhandling at Temple Square. Get rid of them. Okay. Well, we will have a mall built across the street from the homeless center. And then we'll build housing. And we'll have a certain number of apartments that are budgeted for the lower income people. And so they can go and get a job across the street, and then they can live in one of those apartments. Perfect. Solve the whole problem. So they built it. Somebody bought the land and built the Gateway Mall. And businesses leased the buildings and started selling. And then the homeless. Ooh, people with money are going to come to these stores. Let's go panhandle here. Mark our territory. People who already marked off Temple Square already marked off their territory. So now the rest who didn't get to have Temple Square can now have a new place at the Gateway. Yeah, Todd sucks at his job for the church. Valedictorian in high school and at BYU, and then he got shot down in flames by a real school, the University of Michigan. No psychology, Todd. Dumbass. Betrayer. And so, yeah, I told you, even though he betrayed me too, like my whole family did, the church threatened him. And I'm surprised they didn't murder him like they did my mom, our mom. You do know, Todd, that the church oh, you don't watch YouTube? You were just told to shut me up and silence me with a lawsuit? Yeah, how well did that work? It didn't? Oh, you had to pay $2,000? Did the church pay you back for those $2,000? They didn't? Oh, no. So you told your lawyer that the church threatened to fire and excommunicate you and thus ruin you unless you committed a crime against me? And the lawyer took your $2,000 as a retainer and didn't give it back? Didn't use it to sue the church? Huh. Devil never supports his own. So, yep. So the business owners complained, and so thus Operation Rio Grande was born. Creatio ex nihilo, out of the Mormon legislator, who said, I know how to fix it now. I spent one night, overnight, I spied on them, and Jesus told me exactly what to do. And so they cleared out the Salt Lake County jail, moved them to the other jails in Utah, and intended on locking everybody up in jail to force them to go to either the drug court or the mentally retarded court, because then you'll have a life, you'll have a home and food and everything better than here in jail with just bologna sandwiches. How do you know they only serve bologna sandwiches, Travis? Remember 2008? Yeah, 18 years, guys. Oh my God, Judges 3, and then the Korahor thing, at the end of the 17th year. Oh my God. And this church isn't wetting themselves and saying, Travis, here, take the church quick. That was your bombshell for this video, Oaks. They knew about 2008. Just incredible. And there's more when you know Paleo Hebrew. That's the number 2. I couldn't believe it. Because Judges, that's also where I got the bread dream from. And of course, Samson. Yep, just incredible. Yep. There's no such things as prophecies. No man can know of what is to come. Oh, dear God. And so, yeah, that utterly failed. They had no intention of rebuilding shelters in Utah. And so, after the failure of not being able to force people into the mental asylums or the drug courts, which is also led by psychologists, both of them are psychological driven. Then they did the whole, okay, now we'll make 3 shelters with Gail Miller to the rescue, and we'll cut out 400 beds. And it gets worse, because I could talk about how it was also a way for the church in their premeditation to have me murdered because of the lawsuit. And then especially when I crossed the line with the way to perfection. Anamon Diamond, oh my God, Travis, now we've got to delete it all from our files to cover it up and hide it. Travis! Just an annoyer and a disturber of Lucifer's kingdom. Wah. And so, yeah, that scandal that occurred. And so, yeah, obviously they were overfilled to the max on purpose to justify more shelters, to justify obtaining more land to do this. And so, yeah, they just not doing it. And finally they've given up on Gail Miller, and now they're trying to do the one big center of asylum to house all the homeless. And your big clue was that only psychologists would be working there. Huh. So all homeless are mentally retarded, are they? Couldn't possibly be because the government isn't doing their job, causing the problem, under orders of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. So, that's what they're doing that for. That's what I see there. Causing the problem, letting it get worse, so that something drastic can solve the problem, and it only makes things worse, because it'll create other problems. It's for human experimentation and drugging. And in case you forgot, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is the major investor in the stock market. It's not just from tithing. Oaks came out in response to the whistleblower in 2019 and said, yeah, he's correct. We do this with every source of income. So fast offerings, Book of Mormon fund, tithing fund, philanthropies, charities, all of it has their own separate LLC company, investing where the rest of the money goes to an offshore bank account. Australia leaked that one. So, with the severe sex abuse that you're witnessing, this is where the church and Governor Huntsman are involved with Epstein. Paris Hilton, coming out, testifying, said that her asylum here in Utah tried to get her, God, I saw that movie last night, Shuttle. Should I ruin the ending for you? Because I'm sure you shouldn't see it. I don't want to see it anymore. I saw it. It was awful. The movie was good, but it was horrifying. It's about sex trafficking in the United States of America. And they, God. But the Epstein files revealed that the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints helped Epstein with Mormon girls. Governor Huntsman was a special church service missionary. He's listed in Epstein's little black book. That's why he has adopted kids. And now that we know about the Zorro Ranch because of the Midas Touch who did the investigation to find it, now everybody is talking about it, revealing the horrible atrocities that were going on there. Have you had the talk with your daughters, Gilbert? Do you understand why the church bribed you with $1 million signing bonus? Are you really that naive, or do you fully know, and that's why you got put in? What level of hierarchical knowledge are you? Do you understand why Oaks groomed you? It's because of your daughters. Just as Nelson groomed Claire Crosby. Because she would have been 11 years old for 2020. The new age that Nelson lowered it to. How can anybody be a Mormon with this? Mormon pint of blood. How could anybody be so evil to stay in this church? The video that Stanford suggested, the whistleblower girl, revealed that Epstein was planning to build Babylon of polygamy for the millennium. Musk got exposed by Alyssa Grenfell of the Mormon, giving him all those women so that he can breed Legion for Armageddon. Then you got Gates, who gave the pathetic excuse to try to claim that he was a victim, testifying that because of the affairs that he had, Epstein was able to compromise him and extort him to have sex with little girls. Really? So to have your wife not be aware of your sexual affairs, you got extorted by Epstein to have sex with little girls. And you're supposed to be this big tech genius as Bill Gates with the multi-billions of dollars that you've amassed with your company and your products? And you're really that stupid, huh? You expect us to believe you're the victim, huh? So yeah, Paris Hilton also confirms that these treatment centers of psychology were grooming kids for the Epstein files to be taken to the Zorro Ranch. Shut down this church now. Still got some of this other news. There's a reason why it's the great and abominable church of Lucifer, guys. So, you all know about Elizabeth Smart. That was just one man doing his own thing, kidnapping her and raping her for his harem for Armageddon. But you notice the same pattern. They changed the law of chastity the year before their test run, guys. It's 2 of my top 10 videos. Or was that the Animal Down one? It was the Animal Down one. Maybe go back and check to see the temple changes, those videos. I think they're top 10. Could have been on the other channel too. God, I need to stop the video and compose myself. God. I mean, seriously, Mormon men who have daughters. You seriously believe this church is true, huh? You're ready to hand over your daughters, are you? When we're told by the lies of this church that Joseph Smith went to Emma and said, You have to allow me 10 child bride virgins or you're going to be destroyed. And then he went to a Mormon and said, hey, brother, Jesus told me your wife is mine. That adultery is the way to go. If that's what the Lord wants, I'll do it. And you believed it. Well, it's these Danites who lied about that and who are actually doing the most horrific sexual deviances. Because remember, section 117 says that they're the Nicolaitan band of Revelation chapter 2. Yeah, that's the Danites. And if you knew what the Christians have as a tradition for them, you'd shut this church down now. John D. Lee as a snuff raper of little girls. Shut this church down now. This church must be exterminated. It's that evil. Everybody wants to support the church, huh? God, you guys are... Oaks is forcing this faith crisis to prove you herewith. So yes, the Scout nominees interviewed yesterday were obviously approved. But KSL titled their video, Scout nominee faces tough question. Really? Because it didn't seem like it was a tough question because the vote was pretty clear. The Mormons in the council quickly approved them, even though it was a debate over where they lived. The one guy, the Mormon, he'd been out of the country, but the law specifically states you just have to live here for 5 years and you qualify. And so yeah, the dumbass Antifa woman fought the wrong argument. You should have said, hey, he's a member of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. The previous woman was fired because she allowed Utah to turn blue and go against the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. And so you're specifically putting in one of the church's lackeys, fixers, into the position? We all know what's going on. Tell the truth, press. And so Fox 13's dumbass question on their titled video is, will the Mormon recuse himself whenever there's a case with the church? Would any of you federal justices like to field that question for them as you did to me? Although there were 3 who recused themselves. The one had to be compelled to be recused. Dear God. So, the rest somewhat has to do with number 2. 1.9 million citizens of California have up and left. And then another news agency talked about how there's a secession crisis in politics, that there's a national divorce going on. Hey, Marjorie Taylor Greene back in that test run. 3rd Nephi chapter 7, guys. It's taken a different form again, just as I told you it would, after the failure of Trump in 2025, with the change in the way it was going to happen. This is what I saw. It's technically the 4th version of it, because the gerrymandering was the 3rd one, and that's sort of slowing down now. So now it's individual secession, mass leaving of a state to go to another state that they agree with. Yep, it's coming. It's building to it. And yeah, Trump, by getting involved with the stock market, is now shielding the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints and their stock investments. Even though the stocks for the church, for only Ensign Peak advisors, it has to give out their report publicly because of the exposure and because of the crimes that they got busted for with the SEC. Thanks to the whistleblower. We need more whistleblowers in this church, guys. You need to know what a crime is, and you need to know that you're committing it, and so that you can report it. Whistleblow, even though with Trump the church is being protected, because the church has Trump compromised. He's a puppet. But Trump is breaking records. 3,000 stock trades in 3 months. And thus the church is able to sneak in with their insider trading on this. So yeah, the sell-offs that they're pretending to be victims of through the Salt Lake Tribune reporting. Yeah, no. 2-hour video, huh? But yeah, they're purposely causing the division of loyalists to the church and who is not, so that they can implement their final solution for you guys. That's why they're getting all these ICE detention facility, trying to get the homeless shelter facility, and more treatment centers. Now they're going after fetuses. See, not even the Nazis were this evil. But when you mingle it with the great and abominable Church of Lucifer, bibbity bobbity boo, even Lucifer himself pales with fear. That's Joseph Smith and his Liberty Jail documents. Section 121 and 2 and 3 and right here. So let's see if I can find it. Creed. Section 123. If anybody's confused as to whether or not Joseph was a Christian, there's the iron yoke of Jesus. Yeah, verse 10. After talking about the most horrible, awful scenes committed by this great and abominable church, claiming to be Christian, talking about murder. 28, USC 1111, red rum, death penalty, Oaks, and all your 12, and the presiding bishopric. And hey, since we're doing a purge of the church, let's get the presidency of the 70, because, you know, you do have that one or two who are in the Strengthening Church Members Committee. And then the whole Strengthening Church Members Committee. Did you guys have a purge of your employment there after my video? I guess we'll have to wait and see how cyber terrorist I get. How cyberistic terrorized I get. Making up new words. So summarizing it all up, which dark and blackening deeds are enough to make hell itself shudder and to stand aghast and pale, and the hands of the very devil to tremble and palsy. See, he fears me, but he fears the evil that Oaks' administration is doing. What have I created? I didn't know about these consequences. Shut them down now, people. You can't just leave the church and think that you're free. You're not free. They are plotting a final solution for you on purpose, purging you from this church for being the sensitive snowflakes that you are, so that they can murder you too and steal your little girls.